enough to make the world more beautiful. And I'm gonna change that.
Do you think that was something you were born with, like something innately, like the taste, the ability to see these people, find them out?
Yeah, and taste is like just a really, I've been struggling with that word recently because who's to say, I mean, you probably would have finished my sentence and say, who's to say what's tasteful, but I would say, who's to say even having taste is good? Who's to say having good taste is a good thing? Some people say everyone was born an artist, and society, their parents, they beat it out of them. You know, there's times, there was someone after I said I was going to run for president that showed me like a videotape of somebody making fun of me about that concept, and I was thinking like, wow, if this person was doing this from my age of 3, I would have never been me. And, you know, people say geniuses are kids with good parents. So, how do you nurture the things that people would call weird and to something that could be considered to be, to something that would be exceptional? Like, so many movies are based on this anti-hero that's up against all odds doing the exceptional. Like, you know, maybe this would be an eloquent interview. You know, it's like a 50-50 chance every time I open my mouth. But at the end of the day, like I said, words get in the way. And regardless of if people understand this or not, you know it's Rain Man sitting here. You just fucking know it's Rain Man. So, let's go back and look at that movie. No matter what Rain Man's doing, you know if you take him to that fucking table, he's gonna pick the right cards.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on education and the sort of thinking that you've been talking about as it relates to education and the importance of how education kind of falls into this conversation.
Education is in every conversation.
Yeah.
Couldn't have a conversation without it. I mean, both of my parents are educators. I think that knowledge is power. And it's not just about the information that is held in books. It's about codes that are held in cultures. Bah, 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 bah.
Codes meaning?
Meaning any creative idea that relates to an industry, there are codes in the management to get from A to Z. A lot of times I feel like Wolverine. Like you say sticks and stones can break your bones, but words never hurt you. I mean, look at Trump. I guess words can't hurt you. I mean, people across the world like just lack opportunities, period. And the few people that do get into a place of having an opportunity, I'm not gonna say that they have, Phil Knight, I wanna come to your island, I wanna chill, you know? So I'm not saying you have to come back and help us save the world and shit, but it's, I feel a responsibility because of my parents are activists and they were in the world-changing business, to take any position, anything that I gain, any extra goodwill or good skills that I take along my like video game, Legendary Zelda role-playing, you know, path in life, because it's like a RPG this person is giving you more information. It's like how I met Axel Vavort, right? Mm-hmm. It came from, and you don't have to explain who people are because they have this thing called Google, you know. Yeah. So I met Axel Vavort through Willow. 8 times separated of a piece of information that led me to another piece of information, that led me to another piece, that led me to another piece, that led me to another piece, that led me to Maastricht, and I might say it wrong, I think it's where they had the furniture fair. Yeah. So Willow says, man, I really like this guy's blog, Justin Saunders, Jound, J-J-J-J-O-U-N-D. It's just like the way he mixes these, you know, things from the 90s, and he's got like, he'll have like a naked girl there, they have like a good shoe, they have like a bad shoe, and it's like just a good, I'm into his perspective on art. Now Jound's been doing it for 10 years, or we call him Jound or Justin, and we started saying, to this day, we say, is that Jound approved? So I reached out to Justin and explained, you know, my background in wanting the certain elements of my background that you might not have been able to see from just the albums I was doing or the videos I was doing, or like the red leather jackets I was wearing, or or the chains I was wearing, or the furs, or the minks, or the big booty house. Yeah, sometimes that could be distracting to conversations like this. So, just creating memes every step of the way.
It does remind me kind of.
Hold on a second, you're gonna break my thought. Save that one. So, I hired Justin, I explained all this stuff, and we built a relationship. We'd always bounce ideas, and he'd send me, you know, references. And so I was staying at this apartment in Paris, and Justin was out there, and we were working on some ideas. And I was like, this apartment is like whack. What can I do? He's like, my favorite architect is Joseph Duran. So then I reach out to Joseph Duran, and Joseph Duran comes by, and he gives some ideas. And he says, you got to cover up this nasty bookshelf over here, and you got to cover up this glass banister. And I went and plastered over it was just a hotel I was staying at. I plastered over the bookshelf and the banister in the hotel. Plaster, like people go in, nail it in, plaster, and that curtain plastered over, and it's like that to this day. Boss stage 1 annihilated. Now stage 2, Vogue. You know, stage 3, art. Yeah. Stage 4, you know, like, and it's all these stages where it's really important, because the funny thing about an editor completely trying to annihilate my credibility because we didn't have water and the show started late. And I care about people's time, so it wasn't on purpose. But the fact that they felt they could outright LeBron James, went to the Heat level, burn my jersey after all that I contributed to art, fashion, and culture just in 2016 alone, and they want to burn my jersey on their tweets. I want to make $10 t-shirts, $15 t-shirts that a 35-year-old mom could go in and say, if I could have the perfect form of a grocery store of apparel, this would be it. So I could dress my 12-year-old that wants to get fresh, like, you know, whoever we can name, ASAP Crew or Thug or Ye or, they don't realize how damaging and hurtful that burning of my cultural jersey is to the cosign, which is different than most fast fashion. I won't name brands, but to the cosign of what it means for me to be an artist and say, I'm gonna take my art and my obsessing over 1,000 different types of t-shirts to figure out how to partner with the Gap and land it at the right cost that 35-year-old mom can get a fully co-signed wardrobe with Kanye and his Donda design team. They don't understand the bigger picture. I wanted to put that out there because maybe they'd sit and listen and look at it. I want to talk about the idea of me saying these things in the color that I'm in currently. You know, skin color. And I'm not saying currently like I'm going to change skin colors. When I mean currently, I mean 10 years from now, to be black will be a completely different thing because of what we're doing now. And
through culture.
What?
Through culture.
Through culture and business. And interracial dating. Because of what we did at Donda collectively, you know, 20 years from now, people are gonna be like, oh, we need a black guy to, you know, creative direct something. You know, it was there's just been very few directors, period, that were black. And so often you know, Spike Lee used to say that they would ticket swap, and they did. Ticket swapping is no different than, you know, an album that you never heard beating an album that is really big, or a video that a small sect of people seeing beating a video that's a cultural phenomenon. That's like ticket swapping for, you know, an agenda of manufactured money making off of mediocrity. And that gig is up. You know, people are like, you know, the internet will kill you. You know what I'm saying? They're like down right in. This is whack. This is that. There is still something like crowd perception, but it's not like you could never make another Backstreet Boys. You can't even make famous people anymore. There hasn't been a new famous person in 7 years. You know, the very thing that has propelled these gargantuan influencers is the same thing that will, you know, block it from there ever being, you know, as famous a single person as there's been up to this point. It's, you know, it's like multi-icons, and people are their own stars. And when I'm under the gas at the dentist's office, sometimes I think, one day all people. So all the things that were only afforded to rich, the Hermes color palette, Helmut Lang, Margiela, those things, like when I go to like Sterling Ruby's studio, like I want my daughter to come back, and this, that, and that. Is like I'm just so taken back and inspired. And that inspiration needs to be taken out of the box of luxury and given to all people. If people are working from a place of inspiration and opportunity, the world would be better. People would be happier.
Do you see yourself as that bridge? Someone who's helping bring that, you know? I
think so, and if I'm not, I'm going to, nope, I'm not even gonna put it if I'm not, because I remember Pac, you know, used to talk about me. He didn't know me, but he's talking about me. And people, right when I say that, insert clip here. Everyone knows the exact quote, exact that I'm referring to. If you've seen those Pac interviews, you can just insert clip there. Because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be dead when the world starts getting good. I want to see it. Yeah. So I'm not going to put out anything like, man, but I'm going to inspire the... Yeah, that too, but I'm going to be here too. I'm being part of it too. Yay, here too. Only thing that's good about a project being finished is it can give you, possibly, if people like it, the opportunity to work on more projects. It's this artist I was working with, right? And then I'm on the plane sitting next to him. Sometimes don't sit next to people on the plane that you work with. You know, you might find out too much. And they were like looking through their Instagram, and they looked at like this one like kind of art fashion site, and they were pulling references. I was like, you pull from that? I caught you. I thought you were only pulling from the essence of your life when you were a 14-year-old girl. You was on Instagram pulling references. Yeah. I think that's it. I think you got the best Kanye interview today. So.